Fuck off is the short answer.
All I know is that the guy got angry, and I mean, however I word this, I'm going to get cancelled.
I'm ready. So we start every episode with things that non-gays shouldn't really be saying, but we want to give them a safe space to say it.
Yeah. So this is from this is an anonymous message.
Right.
Why do we still need a Pride Month?
Is this one of your mates? Is that why it's anonymous?
Why all my mates anonymous?
I just wondered why you wanted to keep it anonymous.
It's nobody that I know.
Right.
It's just
cool.
I haven't made it anonymous.
Why do we need?
By the way, it is anonymous.
Why do we need a Pride Month? I mean, I find that question so offensive. Why do we still need a Pride Month? Because gay people are still being killed. Gay people,
Right.
are still having to face conversion therapy in the UK and America and around the world. In Russia, there's like Section 28 laws sweeping across the world.
Including in the UK last week.
Well, that's guidance, not a law.
Right.
And it's really frustrating seeing shit like that happen. The evil Tories put out guidance saying that schools should take an approach to trans pupils whereby they treat them according to their sex assigned at birth, despite the fact that, parents might want them to be using different pronouns. It's just disgusting. So that's why we need a Pride Month, because we need to tell the world who we are. And it's a protest, remember? Why do you think we need a Pride Month, Dan, as an ally?
Just all of the above, I think.
I'd love you to just give me more than that.
Because of the things that happen to LGBTQ plus community around the world and the things that have happened in the past. And they needed Pride to trigger some of the changes that have happened over the world, certainly in the Western world. Wouldn't have happened really without Pride. And arguably, future changes to come won't happen without Pride. Certainly visibility, of which Pride is, the most visceral example of that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why we need them.
I don't know if I've been spending too much time with Piers Morgan, but I can see why right-wing people get so annoyed by it. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit. I can see it. They're like, why do you constantly bang on about who you are? Why are you celebrating who you are all the time?
Yeah.
Pride is a sin. Look, in general, in life, people don't like people celebrating who they are, do they? We like to push people down. I think people preferred gays when we didn't have gay marriage because we were fighting for something, and maybe they felt like they could understand why we'd be on the streets fighting. But then as soon as we've got a tiny bit of something, everyone's like, oh, well, you've got your rights now. Can you shut up? Like, can you go away now? Like, we gave you gay marriage. Could you be quiet? It's really annoying because that's not how equality works, babe. You don't just get that and then we're quiet. We're not done.
Yeah.
We're not, just as women aren't done in feminism and in women's rights, gay people aren't done. Black people aren't done. None of this is done.
A lot of people don't want to hear about the World Cup, right? And is there not a contingent of people who are just like, this has got nothing to do with me for whatever reason, so I just don't want to hear about it in the same way I don't want to hear about
the Euros.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Kind of. I mean, I don't really care about the Euros, but I don't mind hearing about it.
Like,
no, I suppose I do. It does get a bit boring when every time you put the TV on, you see the Euros.
Yeah, there's got to be an element of that. Like, of people just being like, oh, I can't see how this has got anything to do with me.
Right. So
just stop going on about it.
Stop banging on about it.
A bit like if you haven't seen like Baby Reindeer, you might be like, what? Can everyone just stop going on?
Get on board, watch it then.
There's a couple of bands that I'm just like waiting to split up. They're doing like these endless tours. I'm like, right. They're still like going.
The Saturdays, they never actually split up. I'm still waiting for an official announcement.
I mean, I was less so thinking them, but
right.
More in the rock world. Well, I'm watching these bands at festivals go, they're still, God, I thought they were splitting up. No,
they're
not
making
yet.
Money, aren't they?
So I can understand why some people are like, why are you still going on about it?
Well, because we don't have our rights yet.
Yeah.
Equality isn't done. It's never done. And we need to continue fighting. It's such an annoying question.
All right. So James Barr is doing a Edinburgh show from the 31st of July. 25th of August, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen it.
No.
And it's likely that I won't, unfortunately, because I'm elsewhere for all of these dates, annoyingly. Anyway, I do really want to see it. I desperately want to see it, actually. I think from what I'm hearing, it is amazing.
Have you really heard that?
Well, I have heard that from your ex-agent. Tweeted something.
Oh my god, I thought you were going to say my ex-boyfriend.
No, well, I haven't seen him for a while.
No,
have you seen him?
No, I haven't.
No, is he familiar with your?
That's like the first question everyone wants to ask.
Yeah,
it's really annoying.
But you must see why people want to know. People ask that.
Well, you're sort of assuming the listeners have the context of that question in their mind when you ask it. Well,
anyway, moving on then.
No, do you know what I mean? Like you haven't actually said what it's about.
Yeah.
So
this show is. I mean, I can't talk about this with any authority because I haven't seen it, but this is documenting the domestic abuse that James experienced in a previous relationship.
Yeah. So in answer to your question about my ex, I don't really give a fuck actually whether they have heard it or not, or heard about it.
Yeah.
It's not, and I keep getting asked this, so I suppose I need an answer. And I think my answer is, it's not really about them anymore.
Yeah.
It's about what they did to me.
Yeah.
So it's my story.
Yeah.
It's not about them. So who gives a shit? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no other answer, but I do keep getting asked it in interviews and stuff, and it's just really frustrating. And I do understand why people ask it, but it's the same reason people searched Fiona Harvey after watching Baby Reindeer.
Yeah.
They want to know who Martha is. And it's just human intuition, what's the word I'm looking for?
That is the word.
Intuition? No, it's not that. It's
nature.
It's just human nature, to quote the great Madonna. Yeah. What do you want to know? We haven't talked about this really at all. We haven't.
So I actually don't know. All I know, honestly, is the headlines of what I've just said. Like, that's all I know.
You don't know what, but you know what. But what do you want? What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know what went down. I've got no idea.
You don't know what went down?
No, not really.
I thought you did.
Not really.
I thought I told you.
All I know is that the guy got angry and beat you up a couple of times. I'm not diminishing that, but that's all I know. That's not good, obviously. But what I'm saying is that I don't know the details. I don't need to know the details.
I shouldn't be laughing, but I think it's okay for me to laugh at it.
Yeah,
I mean, I told Dan like privately what had happened because, well, we're friends and it felt relevant. But then I didn't want to talk about it here because I wasn't really ready.
Yeah.
So I sort of went away and started doing a lot of work on myself and then working on this show. And so I'm in a better place to talk about it now. But is it really worth talking about what went down? It sort of feels irrelevant.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it isn't irrelevant, but I think what's more important is, like, I mean, I am definitely a fucked up person because of it.
Do you get into it in the show?
Yeah, of course. If you're listening, like, trigger warning, you know, my ex was violent, and so there were a lot of, like, violent outbursts. But it's when you're in a relationship with someone, you love them, you protect your relationship at all costs because you think you want. I thought I was going to marry him. I loved him.
Yeah.
So
you got a dog,
and that makes you defenseless because you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You're powerless and you're confused and you want to help the person because we've been taught all these lies about love, like for better, for worse. You know, and you know that classic word that I hate where you have to make compromises.
Yeah.
Right. And all of that stuff is abusive because it tells you that you need to put up with shit from your partner.
Yeah.
It tells you that you need to deal with the shit they throw at you because you love them.
Yeah.
Love conquers all. And so if you can't deal with the shit they're giving you, you must be the problem. You're a terrible person.
Yeah.
Because you didn't help them through it. So when it first started happening, I was just like, oh, this is a bit crazy. Are you okay? And so we talked it through a bit, but then obviously it continued happening. And I just continued to ignore it like it was nothing. I just froze like it was just normal. But it isn't normal, and you're so ashamed of allowing it to happen to yourself that you just don't say anything to anyone. And also you think you might marry them, so why would you tell your friends like what happened? You wouldn't, would you? Because you wouldn't want your friends to hate your partner.
Yeah.
You protect your partner over yourself. And so I'm fucking broken Like I hate love. I mean, I don't hate it. I really love seeing people that I believe are in love and that are growing together. But I find it really, I don't trust anyone. Like,
Yeah.
And since this has happened to me, I just feel like the world is abusive. Like I'm really triggered by the weather. Like so fucking triggered by the weather.
Why?
Because it's blowing wind in my face and
Right.
raining, and then it's suddenly dry and hot, and it's like, 1 minute I'm wet, next minute I'm dry, 1 minute I need sunglasses, then I need an umbrella. Like I find that abusive and it triggers something in me, and I get really angry about all sorts of stupid, innocuous things. I've been chatting to the chairman of Mankind, which is a domestic abuse charity.
Well,
Why are you laughing?
the chairman of Mankind.
Yeah.
Do you not think that's funny?
No, why is it funny?
Because it makes it sound like he's God. He's the chairman.
He is the
mankind.
chairman of man. Oh, I see what you mean now. Like,
Right.
as in God created mankind.
Yeah.
No, I did find this quite surprising. Obviously, we know the statistics for domestic abuse are terrible. And in the UK, it's 1 in 4 women,
Yeah.
1 in 6 men. So 1 in 5 adults basically experience this kind of thing in their lifetime. But for queer people, the domestic abuse rates in relationships are nearly double for lesbian and gay people than they are for heterosexuals. So for heterosexual people, it's 4% in the last year that have experienced domestic abuse from a partner. And in lesbian and gay same-sex couples, it's 7.6%.
I mean, however I word this, I'm going to get cancelled.
I'm ready.
But
I'm literally
but
ready to pounce.
but obviously, like, it's
Why would that make it? Why?
why would that make it what?
What does that mean? Sorry, yeah.
Well, I think
explain.
if there's 2 blokes, they're more likely to have a fight than a bloke and a woman are.
I don't think that's how abuse works. It's not just 2 blokes having an argument,
No.
is it? I
Well,
mean, and in so many of these cases, it's more perpetrator and victim, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it's not 2 blokes having an argument. But I guess you're coming at it from well, I don't really know where you're coming at it from, but I don't think it's more likely just because it's 2 blokes or more likely because it's 2 women.
So why do you think it's so much higher then?
Because, well, I don't know, but I suppose my opinion is that we are really broken.
Yeah.
Like, we grow up with so much trauma and gay shame. And if you don't work on that,
Yeah.
you're fucked, aren't you? And so who is going to... You're projecting all of this stuff that you maybe haven't dealt with. And listen, I have empathy for people that perpetrate this kind of behavior. And I probably shouldn't, but I do. And I can see sometimes where it's coming from. And a lot of that in queer spaces or queer relationships is probably from people that haven't dealt with their shit and are just spiraling or taking it out on their partner without consciously meaning to do so.
Yeah.
That's my thought process on it. But then if you look at bisexual stats, it's so much higher. It's like bisexual people in the last year, it's 17.3% of bisexuals that have been in an abusive relationship in the last year in the UK.
So why is that so even?
I have no idea.
Even higher.
I don't know. I'm not bisexual. My guess is like, oh, well, you're bi, so you're cheating on me or something. Maybe it triggers more insecurity on the other partner's side. But either way, like, deal with your shit, guys. And for me, it's so upsetting because I do believe my ex loved me. Well, the thing is that I also don't believe what I just said because I don't believe that love is abuse. Like,
yeah,
it's just not, is it? You don't hit someone you love. You don't attack someone you love. You don't push someone you love down the stairs. Like, those things are not love.
No.
And if you love someone, you just wouldn't do that. You would go nowhere near that.
Yeah.
You love them. And this is the thing I wish I'd known. And I wish people were talking about it louder because we're so ashamed to tell anyone because we're protecting the person that hurt us. But, like, they hit you. Like, I'm protecting him. What?
Yeah.
Why the fuck am I? I mean, and obviously I want to, but he didn't protect me.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking confusing.
Why do you think people aren't talking about this in the LGBT world?
I don't think people are talking about it anywhere. But I know that there are. If you look for it, you'll find it, but it's not loud.
Yeah.
It's not as loud as that statistic. I mean, doing some shitty gay math here. If 1 in 5 adults experience domestic abuse in their lifetime, there's another 1 in 5 that have perpetuated domestic abuse.
I was wondering that, but I'm guessing the 1 is inclusive of...
No, it's not.
It's not.
No. So that means
1 in 5 is a victim.
Right. That suffer. If you want to use the word victim. that have experienced, because people hate that. I've been told off for saying it.
I know, but
like people,
what's the
people just people just so not
what's
ready.
an alternative word then?
Experienced it. Survivor.
But people don't like that either.
No, it doesn't sound cool, does it? It makes you sound weak, right? Like, I don't like saying I'm a victim or I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
I hate it, but it's quicker than going, I have experienced violence from an ex-boyfriend. It's easier.
So with a lot of couples where this is going on, you might look at them and go and hear about something like this and then go, what?
So like if a woman was the perpetrator, not the man or something.
Yeah, which is why that whole side issue does very much go unsaid.
And it needs to be said. Like, men are victims too, to quite a huge extent.
Yeah.
But what I really just wish people would know is that this does happen quite a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's not love. So as soon as something bad happens, just leave.
Yeah.
Because you're just making it worse for yourself. And no one needs that.
Yeah. Obviously,
and that's hard, but especially if you're a year in, 2 years in, whatever. But ultimately, you are the most important person in your life. But it obviously isn't as easy as that. So, but I just wish it was in my blind spot. I thought I'd get gay bashed in the street, not in my own house.
Yeah.
By my boyfriend.
Yeah.
So I didn't see it coming. But I wanted to just say one other thing. Like, coming out about this has been harder than coming out as gay.
Right.
For sure.
Why is that?
Because coming out as being gay is a celebration, isn't it? Now,
for
a lot of people,
and there's a lot of people,
ready to welcome you.
Yeah,
everyone's always like, "Oh my God, come out, babes! It's so fun when you're yourself."
Yeah,
when you come out as being abused or attacked by a partner.
Yeah,
I mean, there is so many waves of shame, so much confusion, and so much victim blaming.
Yeah,
and. Yeah, it's awful.
So you get into this in your show. Is it's a whole hour on this?
Sorry, I forgot we were talking about that. Yeah, basically. Well, it's an hour of laugh. Yeah, it's an hour of laughing at domestic violence.
Cool.
It's quite difficult making people laugh at stuff like that. You have to make them feel safe and so yeah. But it's really hard. It's been really difficult.
Well,
so who knows if it's good? It's so scary though. I hate how linked it is to my mental health. Like, it's so awful having to edit like what bits of the story are interesting or not, and then having to be criticized for it or judged for it. Ticket sales, reviewers, me. Just it's like I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It's horrible.
All right, we'll go and see James Barr.
Yeah, come along. I've got but I do have a post-it board at home with people that have said things to me that they've been through after watching it. Like this woman called Ali who came and saw me do a work in progress, and she said that she didn't want to be safe. She didn't want to be strong, but she had to be safe. So I've written quotes like that down. Those are my actual reviews.
Okay.
I know that I'm like actually making a difference. Then that's all that matters, really. But please come. Dan isn't.
No, I don't think so, unfortunately.
Just, great, really good friend.
Well, I'm in America for most of it, unfortunately.
But you can get tickets and support me for Dan by going to jamesbarcomedy.com. And I'm going to be at the Edinburgh Festival from the 31st of July to the 25th of August with my show, Sorry I Hurt Your Son, said my ex to my mum. By the way, it's called that because he wrote that in a Christmas card.
To your mum?
After we'd broken up. Sorry I hurt your son.
What did she say to that?
She just was like, oh, your ex has sent me a Christmas card. Merry Christmas.
She didn't know about the shit that went down.
No, she knew.
Oh, right.
I mean, but hey. So, see you at my show. Thanks for listening to this episode. And we'll pop some links to some support in the episode description.
Yeah.
I guess.
You guess. Maybe. We'll see.
I mean, you could just Google it yourself, babe. Why do I have to do it for you? Just Google it.